This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
The first iPhone I bought because I had never seen anything like it before. I mean, I remember when Steve Jobs took the iPhone, turned it, and we saw cover flow for the first time. That was unbelievable to see. Being able to pinch to zoom in photos was awesome. And typing on a keyboard that was just on glass was something that was completely new. I bought the first iPhone, even though I couldn't afford it at the time, because I love technology. At the time, that was the most cutting edge technology. That felt like I was holding the future in my hand. It's hard to believe the iPhone XS has been out for 6 months. It's pretty much halfway through its life cycle before Apple replaces it with whatever is next. During that time, I've reviewed a lot of different phones, and I've fallen in love with some of those devices that I've tested, but in between those review periods, I find myself always coming back to the iPhone. Before we continue with the video, I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you've seen a change in the videos the past month. We've had a lot of fun making them, and there's plenty more coming your way, so be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell so you can notify when new videos are out. And I want to give a big thank you to this video sponsor, Roborock. So you've seen robot vacuums before, but if you've seen robot vacuums with lasers on their heads, that's what the Roborock S5 has. It's gonna use lasers to map your house so that it'll always get every area clean. It's got the usual stuff you'd expect. It's got sensors, so it's not gonna like fall off of stairs, but it does more than just suck things up. It's also got a mop head on it, so it can mop your whole floor as well. Pairing is super easy. If you're using an Android phone, you actually just put the phone right on it to get it to pair via NFC. As you can do with most things nowadays, you can use an app. It's got the My Home app, let you fully control the vacuum via your phone. If there's like an area that you got especially dirty, it's really awesome. And it has the best sucking power that I have ever seen in a robot vacuum. So somebody who's not home that often, one of the coolest features, you can schedule it at a certain time of day or several times a day to go out and just vacuum your house on its own, and then it'll come back to the charger when it's ready. If you're interested in checking out or even picking up the Roborock S5 for yourself, we'll link to it down below. And again, a big thank you to Roborock for sponsoring this video. So the XS, and in this case the XS Max, isn't that different than the 10 that came before, but you get some nice improvements. The big one is obviously the larger screen here, but then the general S stuff that you usually get. You get a faster processor and better camera, and all that comes together into a package that makes for, a slightly better experience what you had with the last gen. But most importantly with these changes, now 6 months later, they're still noticeable. The best XS feature is actually the XS Max feature. The fact that I can get a bigger screen and also have better battery life to go along with it. I've always liked big screen phones, and I will probably always go with the biggest screen iPhone that I can get. My eyes kind of got used to the original Retina displays, which I don't think were the best screens, but since they went to the 10 and now the XS and the XS Max, the screens are awesome. It looks incredible. Colors look vibrant, the blacks look black. You get the best of OLED, I think, here, and this is definitely the best screen that Apple's ever put on a phone. I like to think I take pictures pretty much every day, and they're usually impromptu pictures. Generally, it's the only camera that I've got with me, so probably my favorite XS feature is the camera. Every picture I take looks some version of good. You can ask anybody who knows me, I generally have my head down and I'm staring at my phone. So good battery life is really important. I've been able to get great battery life out of the XS Max. I charge my phone every night, so as long as I can get through a full day, that's important. So as much as I wanted iOS 12 to be the big design change, it was definitely more incremental. But there are a few things that I really love in it. And I think that probably the biggest one, though, is just overall stability, sort of fixing some of the problems iOS 11 had. 12 has been really stable, almost from the get-go. All that is fine. The iPhone XS is a good phone, but it takes more than just a good phone to get me to keep coming back. Nothing in the phone marketplace is perfect, but the iPhone XS pretty much checks every box that's at least important to me. Apple's always been known for certain things, and it's kind of like the trinity of the phone world. You've got amazing hardware, really solid cameras, and of course, iOS. When I pick up an iPhone, I don't know, maybe it's Apple's Johnny Ive voiced over brainwashing, but I feel like I'm holding something premium. I can feel the quality in it. And certainly that quality comes with the premium, but I always know that I'm not gonna find anything else that really comes close to how that phone feels in the hand. Maybe subconsciously, it's part of the reason that, I like the iPhone. iOS itself is the biggest reason that I keep coming back. And it's because I can't get that experience anywhere else. And it's three main things in iOS that keeps me coming back to the iPhone. First, it's iMessage, being able to have group threads, get receipts. I love having iMessage. The second thing is AirDrop. And the biggest one, probably right now, is Apple Photos. And my 90-year-old grandparents using an iPhone SE, and I have a shared gallery where I share pictures of my family. My grandparents see those pictures and they respond to almost every single one. It's kind of cute. They think I'm sending them just to them, but I'm not gonna teach them how to use Google Photos. They barely can use the phone as is. So the fact that my grandparents can see pictures of my kids as they're growing up, things are happening on a daily basis, and they get that kind of intimate connection with my family, is the reason I would come back to iOS. One of the reasons people knock the iPhone is it's so simplistic, but the simplicity I think is part of its elegance too. You don't really have to think that much about what you're doing. The phone kind of works very intuitively, and that's one of the biggest reasons that I generally recommend an iPhone to somebody who doesn't have an OS allegiance. So if you take all of these features on their own, there are ways to duplicate it on other operating systems, but you put them all together, that's when you start to see sort of the elegance of what the iPhone offers. And I'm not alone here.
Howdy there, folks. I'm Quinn of Snazzy Labs.
Hey guys, this is Austin.
One of the things I really love about iPhone is that it just works.
The reason I use an iPhone is pretty basic, right? I mean, first of all, I do prefer iOS over Android. I mean, it's just straight up like my own personal opinion.
The default settings are fantastic. Third-party software works amazingly well. I couldn't even tell you the last time I rebooted my iPhone because something went wrong.
Apps just still, even all these years later, do feel a little bit better on iOS. And also, things like iMessage are, even though there are ways to get around it now, still so much easier to use when you have like a Mac, if you have like an iPad, if you have an iPhone. It's just the standard Apple ecosystem stuff, right?
I love that seamlessly between my Mac, my iPhone, and my iOS devices, I can send text messages and sync photos and send files. It's just a really, really great platform. Is it that exciting? No. Can it do the latest and greatest? No. But it does everything I need to do really well and all the time.
So I know what you're thinking, John, there's plenty wrong with the iPhone. And to you I say, yeah, you're right. Apple is not quick to make changes, and you can see it by what the Android flagships are offering. You've got things like reversible wireless charging, lets you charge other things from your phone. That's really nice to have. I mean, my wish list would be USB-C, so I only have to carry one cable when I'm traveling. That would be awesome to have. And I think really what the next iPhone needs is on the operating system side. iOS 13 needs to bring some visual changes, needs to bring some more customization options. I keep harping on this. The biggest knock, though, on the iPhone XS generation is the obscene pricing that Apple has going on. I don't care how they let you finance it or what incentives carriers are offering. The pricing on the iPhone is insane, and they are pricing the XS, making it seem like an elite phone. It's a hard phone to afford for anybody. It's a lot of money to spend on something there's gonna be a better version of in 12 months. Any way you look at it, whether you upgrade your phone every 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or every 3 years, the iPhone XS and XS Max are too expensive.
And we are calling it iPhone.
There's been over 20 different versions of the iPhone, between pluses and Macs, SEs and Cs, and there's been a lot of issues in a lot of those generations. Things like being able to hold the phone wrong, software bugs, security concerns, phones that are bending. These have not been perfect devices out of the gate every time. But assuming, you're holding it right, you know what you're getting with an iPhone. And that's to say, you know what iOS is going to give you. You get a few more customization options, each year it gets a little bit faster, but for the most part, the experience has been the same, I think more importantly, consistent. And there's beauty in that consistency, and that keeps me coming back to the iPhone generation after generation. And that's not to say there aren't good options from other operating systems, but I like that consistency. I like what Apple brings to the table, and it keeps me coming back.